The 100-year anniversary of the birth of volleyball. In recognition, here's a brief history of what they now call the sport of the 90s. "100 years ago, a YMCA instructor, Dr. William Morgan, set out to create an activity for middle-aged businessmen. Not too strenuous, nothing costly, a gentleman's game. Just enough to get those good American hearts pumping. He got 10 men at a Massachusetts YMCA out on the gym floor. Morgan called the game Mintonette, and volleyball was born.
It was to be kind of a leisurely activity for those who couldn't handle the strenuousness of basketball. He could never have envisioned, nobody even in the 50s really could have envisioned where volleyball would be now, and the level of fitness required, the level of athletic ability that you need to have to play the game. It's phenomenal to have watched that evolve.
The sport really began to flourish worldwide when it received Olympic status at the 1964 Tokyo Summer Games. But it wasn't until the U.S. national team's Olympic success that volleyball really began to grow.
Until 1984, when the men won the gold medal, the women won the silver, and that really gave a tremendous boost, a shot in the arm to volleyball, both indoors and out, and I think both games have grown dramatically since then.
The explosion of beach volleyball helped lift the game to an even higher level. And this sport, born in 1895, has held the test of time in reaching the century mark.
It's a very important landmark or hallmark in the history of volleyball to have been included in the Olympics, just as it's a very important landmark that beach volleyball will now be included for the first time ever in the '96 Olympics in Atlanta.
And to those 10 men playing that first game in that hot Massachusetts Y, if they could only see this now.
When he sees Scott Ayakatubby's shorts with all the little dingle balls on there, the primitive prints, I mean, and he sees all the things that we're wearing, sunglasses, you almost look like a gladiator out there. And Dr. Morgan, I don't think he and his colleagues could have survived much beach volleyball in August in the Midwest or in Southern California. But certainly I would hope that they would enjoy what the sport has evolved to and enjoy watching what the athletes do, what they certainly never envisioned volleyball players having to do out there.
Games are going to be ready.
You know, home court advantage, you've never lived more than about 3 blocks from here. But you had a couple lost seasons. Did you ever think that you'd have this kind of opportunity to win Hermosa?
Yeah, you know, I just had to grow up a little and realize the opportunity I have in playing volleyball, and I think I've finally done that this year, and, you know, I have a chance here to win my hometown tournament. Campbell.
Good, Mac. Good luck, bud.
Thanks.
Scotty, touch now, right now.
Right now.
What about the pressure that comes with, you know, being the hometown guy? I mean, we're walking along here, and, you know, a bunch of people wish you good luck, and, you know, this is your turf.
Yeah. You know, I have this nervous excitement, you know, it's kind of scary, but, you know, I just have to get out on the court where I feel comfortable and, you know, start moving around and get that nervous energy out and focus and kind of block everybody out.
Did you think last night what it might feel like to stand up there when it's all over?
Yeah, you know, in my dreams I was rehearsing my victory speech and, you know, what I was going to do, you know, after the final play was over, you know, so I probably won't do any of what I thought about.
All right. It's almost time. What do you play, 9:30?
It's about that time, yeah, 9:30.
A big match this morning.
I'm getting nervous. I gotta get out there.
This is your house.
This is my house.
All right. Scotty, thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Good luck, man.
Thanks.
All right, maybe you're going to buy a house here pretty soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hermosa Beach and the Miller Lite AVP Championships! Now on center
What did it say, John?
from Hermosa Beach, 3 blocks away, 16th Street Bomber, Scott Ayakatubby! His teammate from San Clemente, California, out of UCLA. Say hello to Coach Gira!
Ayakatubby, Chris Marlowe, along with Paul Sunderland. We are hoping, we are praying for a great championship final. We've got the two best teams on the beach right now playing against each other. Talk about pressure. Who's the pressure on the most?
Well, it's on everybody, but I think no doubt about it, it's on Scott Ayakatubby. You saw about it as we walked onto the beach this morning. He's never lived more than 4 blocks from the pier in the stadium right here, and he has never won here. Also, he's playing with Karch Kiraly. Of course, Kiraly dropped Kent Steffes for Scott Ayakatubby. Looking towards the future, next year's an Olympic season. If you want a chance to keep Karch as your partner, play with him in the Olympic Games, make $1 million over the next couple of years, it would really be a big step up to win right here at the U.S. Championships.
2 weeks ago, Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola dominated Manhattan. They won the prestigious tournament. Now they go for the riches, and they are playing great.
Well, they've played superbly throughout and have a pretty good record against Karch Kiraly and Scott Ayakatubby. 3 victories, 4 losses, and handled them, of course, quite easily after they were tied at 10 in the finals of the winners bracket. Really, I think a confrontation between Jose Loiola and Scott Ayakatubby. Whichever of those 2 players steps up right here in the championship, it could be theirs.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're
1
set to
game to
begin.
15
Ayakatubby Kiraly,
for the
Johnson,
championship.
Loiola.
Winning team
16
splits
straight
$100,000. Second place team splits $21,500. Yes, big difference. Ayakatubby in white serving first. Chance for the first point. Not yet. Loiola with a knuckler. And Loiola chops it inside. Jose Loiola in black. Black trunks, black tank top, and black headband for Jose Loiola, the Brazilian native living in Southern California. And Adam Johnson, his partner, in red. Blonde hair. Ace! Husband and wife variety, no communication for Kiraly Ayakatubby.
That's the danger zone right up the middle, and Adam Johnson trying to exploit it, get Karch Kiraly and Scott Ayakatubby to gang up on the middle of the court and then start slicing off some sidelines. Back-to-back, very tough serves.
Ayakatubby jukes it out of bounds.
Ryan Ayakatubby have won 4, but neither team has ever won more than 5. It's very clear.
Powerade serving challenge coming down to the last few weeks. $80,000 given away by Powerade for the player that has, and the players that have the most aces. The winner gets 20 grand, and Brian Lewis on top, just ahead of James Fellows.
And just barely going to win $20,000 by the skin of his teeth, or 3 100s, whichever way you want to slice it out. Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola also among the top 5 or 6 on that list. Best serving team on the beach.
Johnson to serve, leading 2-0. And he serves it out of bounds. So Kiraly Ayakatubby will have it. Johnson and Loiola able to beat Kiraly and Ayakatubby in their first confrontation. That was this morning, 15-12. It was a great game. Hoping for more of the same. Karch serving. Down the line.
Hey, one thing to look for is improved serving from Karch Kiraly. Very ineffective he and Ayakatubby in the previous meeting earlier today. Conversely, Adam Johnson, Jose Loiola ripping the ball at Kiraly and Ayakatubby every time back.
And stop.
Kiraly taking responsibility, but you can't let yourself get stuffed in this situation. Sets too tight. Loyola's got the advantage right away. Just putting the closet around Scott Ayakatubby that time. Yeah, ball set much too close by Kiraly.
Loiola serving. 3-0.
Nobody!
Loiola with a dig. And he puts it away.
Ack's gotten every serve so far and didn't expect this one to come back. Digging lips, he almost got that one with his feet. We would have expected that with the Brazilian. Nice knuckle pokey over the top.
2 falls left.
4-0. Kiraly and Ayakatubby asking about timeouts from head referee Jim Leonard. They'll serve Karch.
Tentative set.
Really tentative. Mild complaints from Johnson Loiola. Interestingly, one change that Johnson and Loiola have made is that Jose Loiola is now doing all the blocking. Earlier in the season, they were alternating. They made a conscious change. Johnson is going to play defense all the time. Loiola is going to block all the time, and I think it makes them stronger.
Well, especially if they win the winner's bracket, Loiola should be fresh and up there all the time. He's much bigger.
Down the line goes Adam Johnson.
Johnson will not block. It allows him to concentrate exclusively jump serve. Work on jump serve, hit it hard, and then Jose Loiola, maybe only an inch taller than Adam Johnson there. You see him with the blonde hair and the wedgie cut. But Loiola jumps much higher, much more intimidating blocker.
4-0 the score. Johnson and Loiola out quickly. Crowd is quiet. Crowd wants Ayakatubby. Did it get a touch? And yes, it did. That was just barely a touch. So Karch will have it.
A lot of equipment on this swing by Scott Ayakatubby. If it hits any part of Jose Loyola's arm, consider the ball goes to Kirai and Ayakatubby.
He told I was serving it hard early, but the jumpers were going to Loiola. I don't want to do that. I want to serve it to Johnson, so I've got to get my serve hard on Johnson in the cross-court zone. 4-0. Just out of bounds. Wow.
That was very close to the 5-0 side change.
Scott Ayakatubby, the happiest man in Hermosa Beach to have Karch Kirai back as his partner. Remember, he played with Karch earlier in the year. Karch went back to Steffes, and then choosing to go back with Ayakatubby last week. It paid off as they split $100,000. Johnson sneaks it through.
I tell you, though, it's not easy to play with Karch. I know the game is easy, but again, the situation is not. If you win, hey, you're playing with Karch, best player in the world, best player of all time. If you lose, oh, it must have been Karch's partner's fault. Always a very, very pressure-packed situation.
Johnson serving, leading 4-0.
No one!
And the big hit by Kirai.
Maybe a thankless job, but there are a lot of volunteers who would want to be Karch Kirai's partner. Bombing this time from the left side. Good fake block, Jose Loiola. Very close to making another nice dig.
0 serving 4. There's a tough serve. And Karch has a chance for a point.
Tight.
Ayakatubby rejected.
Two-point scoring chances already for Kirai and Ayakatubby, and they're batting 0. First ball is set too close, so Karch just pokes. All he's trying to do is get a free ball back. Ack figuring the court was open and taking a swing, not to be.
Little touch shot by Scott Ayakatubby into the corner. Ayakatubby with 11 career wins. He's tied for 25th on the all-time list. Trying to move up and tie Tom Shamalos, who's right behind him. The big right-hander out of Santa Monica of yesteryear.
Ball tags the top of the net, side out.
Score remains 4-0.
Score with Nike, Kodak, and Copper Token. Back to serve.
Look at some of the numbers on Ack. First 4 seasons, this season, doing much better, along with Kirai. And an ace for Johnson.
Ace.
2 aces early for Adam Johnson sets the tone. These teams have met 7 times. Neither has won by more than 5 points, and that's the advantage we've got right now early.
And Loiola are out fast. Let's now go down to Bill Walton, who today is on Beach Patrol. Billy.
All right, Chris. You know, when Karch and Ken Steffes were not playing well, all of Ayakatubby's friends were urging him, hey, give Karch a call, ask him to come back to you. Ack said, no, I'm not going to call him. He waited patiently. Finally, Karch called him. He called him up and said, Ack, I want to come back to you. Ack jumped for joy. Meanwhile, Karch went back and called Ken Steffes. Well, unable to reach him, just left a message for him. Ken Steffes undoubtedly very, very disappointed just to get the message machine notification there. Ayakatubby, his back's been a problem. He told me in between the last match and this one that it's a little stiff, but he's back feeling pretty darn good. Right now, though, he's got to start playing better volleyball because they're getting hammered.
5-0 is our score. This is the Miller Lite Championships. We're on live. Johnson and Loiola have just overpowered Karai and Ayakatubby at the moment. Oh my gosh!
Hey, you got to start asking, is there a better player on the beach in the last month than Jose Loiola? He's been blocking balls, serving extremely well, playing exciting volleyball. AJ's been a superb offensive complement. Loiola's starting to do the big things. He's starting to block very, very well.
And we are witnessing a whooping. Johnson and Loiola are crushing Karai and Ayakatubby. They're serving hard, and Loiola's gotten his hand on virtually every spike by Ayakatubby. And finally, sneaks one through.
Two things Ayakatubby and Karai have to do. First of all, in spite of the fact that they are not siding out well, I think they've got to be much more aggressive jump serving. Clark's talking about getting the ball on AJ. I don't care who you serve. You got to serve tough because AJ and Loiola are coming back with bullets. Then they must start siding out.
Working on Loiola. You know, Loiola told me something very interesting. I said, how do you feel about this match? He said, we're going to show that there are more than 2 volleyball players on tour. It's not just Karch and whoever he plays with. Karch and Kent, Karch and Scott Ayakatubby. We're going to show that Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola are also a great team, and there are other great teams on tour. I don't know how much he has to prove, but certainly he's come out playing very, very enthusiastically.
Well, like I just said, is anybody playing better individually or as a team? Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola struggled last week at the Cuervo, very difficult round-robin format, but they have bounced right back here at the U.S. Championships.
Ball ticked the net on the serve. The crowd doesn't like it, so give the ball to Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola. Adam Johnson was playing with Randy Stokos before he got together with Loiola. Loiola was playing with his countryman, Anginho. They signed a 5-tournament contract. They said, we'll play together for 5 and see how we do. And interestingly, they won a tournament. I think the 5th tournament they played in, they won. A lot of people thought they might even break up. They weren't playing very well at the start of their relationship.
Now it's got an automatic rollover clause.
Well, now they're in love. They're in love.
It renews itself every week. One at Manhattan. Have had a great deal of success in the last 6 or 7 weeks. Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola. And Karch, yeah, he's starting to go for it now, jump serving. I tell you, 2 minutes have gone by in the game already, and Karch and Ak have yet to score a point.
How about the Manhattan Hermosa double? 1977 were the greatest teams of all time. Todd and Hoffman did it, and those other guys a little bit later.
Come on.
Well, just like you did at Hermosa and Manhattan, if you walk the walk, you can talk the talk, and that's what Jose Loiola's doing. Another stuff block. 4 stuff blocks for Jose Loiola. This time, getting Karai. Ak just trying to lob the ball over him, and he can't do it. Loiola just flying too high.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. Karai and Ayakatubby trying to regroup. They are getting blown out 7-0. And Loiola trying to win their 2nd major in 2 weeks. They won Manhattan. And they are up 7-0 on Karai and Ayakatubby. The pro Ayakatubby-Karai crowd has been very quiet because Ayakatubby and Karai have not been in this one so far. Ayakatubby to serve. Johnson, and Ayakatubby missed it. Adam Johnson getting up high and putting it away.
Ak in good defensive position, getting stopped as the ball is hit at him so he can react in any direction, just barely out of reach. Really a point scoring opportunity, and came off a pretty tough jump serve.
I think the whole key now to the match is if Johnson and Loiola can continue to serve hard. If they do, Ayakatubby and Karai won't win because they'll get points periodically. But if the Johnson serve goes off and Loiola goes off, they have a chance to come back. So I think eventually Karai and Ayakatubby will get a rhythm siding out. But the question is, can they score some points?
Well, Loiola and Johnson have been serving this way the entire tournament. Part of the problem, and one of the reasons they struggled at the Cuervo last week, it was at Boulder, Colorado. Almost 6,000 feet. The light air takes a lot away from the velocity of your jump serve. You can hit it harder, but it doesn't come down.
Ace for Loiola.
And back at sea level, that one came down on the last fiber. I'm not sure this was passable at all. This is location. Loiola didn't hit it that hard. He's just going deep loopy. Very, very close.
8-0 as Loiola is tearing it up. Ayakatubby drives it down the line. Good shot. Last time these two teams played in the final, I believe, was Chicago. And remember that one. That was on NBC. Johnson Loyola missed, I believe, 19 serves.
And it was 12-9 on time. They were in that match the whole way. Their serving game just let them down.
Crowd trying to get Ayakatubby going. It's tight. Karch blocks it. And they got a point.
Karch doesn't get this excited very often with 1 point, but he knows that's a big one. AJ just up into the block, very, very similar to when Karch was playing with Kent Steffes at Seal Beach. Just enthralled getting a point on the board. That time it was against Dodd and Whitmarsh.
As his team has just scored a point after giving up 8 in a row to start this game off. Yes, 8 in a row.
Took him 2 minutes, 40.4 seconds to get on the scoreboard of game time.
Bad set. Ayakatubby can't get there. Pretty good poke, pretty good location by Adam Johnson.
AJ and Loyola are passing and setting the ball extremely well. Neither set the ball with their hands any longer. Have disdained that for the much more conservative bump set, but it's location, 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 just like in Southern California real estate.
And he's blocked again. Jose Loyola, he's not only blocking him, he is drilling. He's into the China syndrome. 5 stuff blocks. 9-1. You're watching the AVP on NBC. Can you believe it? Talking about the history of volleyball. Well, Volleyball Magazine just came out with an article on the 100 most influential people in history of volleyball. And interestingly, we were named number 10. Unfortunately, number 9 was Dancing Marvin Hall. That was actually number 1 was Karch Kiraly. And they also named the best beach players. And Bill Walton, you had a comment on this. You don't like Karch Kiraly?
I've been following beach volleyball very closely for 25 years. 2 of the top players I ever saw, Jim Mingus and Greg Lee, surprisingly not on that list. I'm not told you this ball, so I see all really old players. I see Hagen and Elsnick, of course. But Greg Lee and Jim Mingus, 2 of the all-time best players, dominant in the 70s.
Hey, Bill, who would you put him ahead of on that list?
Well, Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland for sure.
Oh, that's the wrong list. That's the problem. That's like putting you ahead of Kareem, Bill, on that list.
It's too short a list at 6.
All right.
I would agree with that.
All right. But Ron Von Hagen.
That's all we could fit on the page, Bill.
Named to the first team, the 2 best beach players of all time. There's one of them. The other, Ron Von Hagen, watching today up in Telluride, Colorado.
Sure,
with
a lot
his
of
18 dogs.
Sure, a lot of characteristics and traits on the court.
Yeah, powerful. Well, so far, this has been just a manhandling. Johnson and Loyola have looked unbelievable. Not only are they serving well, Paul, but they're siding out exquisitely, and the blocking of Loyola has been fabulous. 5 stuff blocks, and now it is 10-1.
Adam Johnson, one of the best defensive players on the beach, and has been voted that the best defensive player.
Oakland Raiders, he looks like a pussycat, doesn't he? He'll be working with Jim Lampley next weekend. Kansas City, Seattle Championships. It's been all Adam Johnson and Jose Loyola. They are playing like Ron Von Hagen, Gene Selznick, and Ron Lang.
Like everybody on that list. Exactly right.
Johnson seeking to put his name into the record books. Aces. Trying to think of a dismembering like this at a major championship, Paul, maybe a couple of years ago at Manhattan.
That one wasn't as tough as some of the earlier ones. I think Ryan Ayakatubby starting to think that Johnson and Loyola unbeatable at this point.
Karch, AJ is there.
First week of the match.
And he loops it down the line.
They're playing perfectly. What are you going to do? To go to point number 12, Adam Johnson, one of the best defenders on the beach, gets his first dig and an opportunity. How effective Jose Loyola has been once again blocking an ineffective Kiraly and Ayakatubby.
And the Ayakatubby fans are just stunned. And there are plenty of them here.
Karch back to serve.
So Kiraly back to serve. The Ayakatubby pack is quiet at the moment.
And it takes a lot to quiet that group down.
Johnson cross court.
Johnson chops it down.
Let's duck in some other finishers. Kent Steffes, Randy Stokos finished 4th. Mike Dodd, Mike Whitmarsh, Eric Fenoy Moana, Rob Heiger in 5th. Curtis Griffin and Burke Stefko. A great finish. They got 7th along with Canyon Seaman and Tim Hovland. 12-1 our score. And Loiola is there again. He looks like Craig Buck up there, the former Olympic star of the USA national team.
Well, I'll tell you, right now, this looks like Mike Tyson versus Peter McNeely. It's had about as much drama. It had a lot going in. These two teams had gone back and forth at each other through 7 matches all summer long. All of them very close.
Johnson stumbles and he still gets it. Off Karai. Wow. 14-1.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it is time to make our Miller Lite Cup presentation. Joining me on stage, Jerry Solomon, the Executive Director of the Association of Volleyball Professionals, and Rich Ryder from the Miller Brewing Company, the Manager of Event Services. Rich?
Thanks, Sam. The $1 million Miller Lite Cup rewards the top 64 players on the AVP Miller Lite Pro Beach Volleyball Tour. Points have been accumulated all season long, and Miller Lite is now proud in Hermosa Beach to present Karch Karai as the leader in points for 1995, the Miller Lite Cup victory, and $125,000 first place.
Karch, the all-time leading money winner on the AVP Tour, obviously winning a ton of more money today. I talked to him earlier. He said he's going to earmark this money for his 2 young boys, age 5 and 3, for them to go to college. Karch is definitely the dedicated family man. Chris?
So Corey and Christian should be well set. Karch going over $2 million, but he is taking the shellacking of his life right now. 14-1. We thought Seal Beach was bad. This is even worse. They're just out of it. It's not bad play either. It's good play by the other team.
Well, let's also remember Seal Beach was a $100,000 tournament total prize money.
Yes.
Here's $100,000 to the winners. Jose Loyola, Adam Johnson are going to split $100,000. Showed Karch getting the Miller Lite Cup for his performance all season long. Unless there's a miraculous comeback, Adam Johnson will finish 4th overall and Jose Loyola 6th overall.
Well, Loyola can't pass Ayakatubby.
No.
Come on. Okay, Ayakatubby gets one up. And a little grouper by Karch. And how about that? A point.
Boy, point scoring opportunities have been so few and far between. Control of the volleyball by Jose Loyola and Adam Johnson. Passing, setting, hitting. Those are the fundamentals. And communication. They really call effectively for one another. After Loyola calls the ball, sets the ball, I should say, he'll call to Adam Johnson. Cut line, he's very good at that.
I think a lot of people forget that Adam Johnson is the reigning king of the beach. He won that title from Karch last year. And he's going his 2nd championship point right here. And this could be it. Johnson, who won it all here in '91. Not yet. Karch goes and spears it. And puts it away. Never know when a little play like that could spark a rally. Don't think it's going to happen, but there is time for it. Over 4 minutes.
A longest journey starts with a first step, and albeit that was a very little one.
3 sands, 2 fulls.
They need about 5, 6 aces.
And Johnson takes a sand timeout. So Adam Johnson, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and 2 weeks ago in Manhattan. 14-2. And Johnson hits it into the bottom of the net. Give you some other finishers. Troy Tanner, Eric Wirtz, Brent Gonerman, Rico Guimaraes, Dane Blanton, Ian Clark, Kevin Martin, David Swadek in 9th place. And for all you Ricky Ludes fans, Brent Frohoff, Ricky Ludes finished out of the money this week, 25th. Ayakatubby into the net.
Start thinking about some of the greatest comebacks we've seen of all time. You know, if we're talking about miracles, one happened this year in Clearwater. Whitmarsh were down 12-5 to Loyola and his former partner, Anginio. Championship point once again.
3rd one. And that ball's on the line. I remember one time playing with Steve Obradovich. We played Bob Vogelzang and his partner. We were 10-1. And it gained to 11 and won 12-10. Of course, that wasn't this. 15-3 is a little different story. Tubby.
Come on.
Johnson over to Karch. AJ.
If that one would have landed in the court, I think Karch would have just walked underneath, shaking hands with both Jose Loiola and Johnson. That was enough. Named to 14-4.
And into the net.
Johnson.
So another championship point coming up for Johnson and Loiola. AJ. Cleared for take-up.
The difference between first and second, $78,000.
Serve out of bounds. If you're Karai and Ayakatubby, you're just hoping that someone breaks his leg.
Well, you got to keep playing.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen. But without a bunch of aces, I don't think they can do it. And look at Adam Johnson pass the ball.
Johnson looping it down.
High looping shot, good for the side out. Loiola serve.
And so Jose Loiola, check Loiola's aces. How many does he have?
Well, Loiola's only got one.
Got the
Adam
one in the
Johnson
corner.
got 4.
And Loiola complaining that Karai threw that ball. He's pointing at Jim Leonard.
Well, given Jose Loiola's comments, I feel that, through the course of the year, maybe he feels he's not getting the respect that he deserves at this point in time, and letting the official Jim Leonard know it. Don't cut those guys more slack than you give anybody else.
Johnson takes time out. If Loiola keeps pointing at all the referees, he'll get what he deserves eventually. So Loiola and Johnson, they've slowed it down. They're still in. Chris Marlowe, Paul Sunderland, Bill Walton on a swings. Although that one, nice placement into the right side.
Of the court with the attack, good for the side out and the game point.
Johnson and Loiola led 8-0, 12-1, 14-1, and now have another championship point.
They've had one swing for the championship. Adam Johnson, he was dug by Karch Karai.
Number 6 for AJ. And Ayakatubby seems to have found his rhythm. He puts it away.
Karch setting him a little bit farther off the net, so Loiola, with that great jumping ability, isn't right in your face on top of you as you're swinging at the ball, and also letting things go a little bit here towards the end.
Let's get just a hypothetical question. We know it's not going to happen.
Make sure it's a correct hypothetical.
If you're Johnson and Loiola, when are you thinking that you're a little worried? When are you saying, oh, gosh,
not yet. Not yet.
Okay, not yet. 14-5, folks.
14-8, 14-9, I would start to get real worried.
And that's out of bounds as Karch trying to rev it up.
Loiola attempting championship point.
And Loiola's going to the float serve.
He's focusing on one thing right now, blocking one ball.
And maybe running a little time. Bad set by Karch, and Johnson has a chance. He's got it up for the championship.